a swirling desert sandstorm, with wind whispering through tall, weathered rock formations, hinting at ancient secrets. Close up on weathered hands holding an ornate wooden chest, etched with unknown symbols, nestled in the sand. A silhouette of a lone figure kneeling in prayer beneath a vast starry sky, looking towards the horizon. An old, leather-bound book with faded pages depicting scenes of an ancient temple and people worshipping. A tapestry depicting biblical scenes interwoven with historical figures and events. A golden ark, intricately engraved with religious symbols, resting on ornate pillars in a dimly lit temple chamber. A dusty map with faded markings leading to a hidden cave entrance surrounded by desert wilderness. A group of scholars gathered around a table, poring over ancient scrolls and maps, their faces illuminated by flickering candlelight. A close-up of an archaeologist carefully excavating a hidden chamber within a desert ruin. An ancient stone tablet etched with symbols depicting early Israelites worshipping under a starry sky, emphasizing the depth of time and tradition. A glowing golden ark resting on a cloud-filled pedestal, surrounded by reverent Israelites gazing up in awe, symbolizing divine presence. Skilled artisans meticulously carving intricate designs into the wooden ark using chisels and hammers, showcasing craftsmanship and sacred construction. Artisans layering precious metals like gold onto the ark, while mystical energy emanates from the object, highlighting its spiritual significance. A procession of Israelites carrying the ark towards a grand temple structure, signifying its importance in religious ceremonies. A panoramic view of ancient Israelite life, with the ark prominently displayed amidst bustling markets and daily activities, showcasing its presence throughout society. A close-up shot of an Israelite family kneeling before the ark in their humble dwelling, demonstrating its influence on everyday life. The ark standing tall within Solomon's temple, surrounded by radiant light and angels, representing God's promise and rule over his chosen people. A majestic golden temple bathed in sunlight suddenly darkens as storm clouds gather overhead, symbolizing the end of an era. A group of people carrying a large ornate chest labeled Ark are forced into exile on ships sailing away from Jerusalem. A chaotic scene of burning buildings and fleeing citizens in Jerusalem amidst the falling rubble of a crumbling city wall. Scattered figures dressed as priests run through the streets carrying scrolls, desperately trying to preserve ancient texts. A lone priest stands amidst a pile of destroyed scrolls, his face etched with despair and confusion, searching for answers. An imposing, empty temple stands desolate with no worshippers inside, the sacred space now eerily silent. A giant hand reaches down from the clouds, disappearing as quickly as it came, leaving an emptiness where divine light once shone. A close-up shot of a weathered map with an X marking an unknown location, accompanied by a thought bubble depicting a mysterious golden ark. A montage of historical illustrations depicting people from different eras searching for something in various locations like libraries, ancient ruins, and deserts. A shadowy figure holding a magnifying glass over a weathered parchment with a cryptic symbol, hinting at a hidden secret. Split screen. On one side, a candlelit prayer room filled with devout worshippers. On the other, a treasure chest overflowing with gold coins and jewels. A group of people gathered around a table in a dimly lit synagogue, listening intently to an elder telling a story. Two scholars poring over ancient texts in a dusty library, whispering amongst themselves and pointing at specific passages. An old woman sitting with a young child, showing them an ancient scroll while narrating its contents. A hand reaching out to touch a closed door with intricate carvings, symbolizing the elusive nature of the artifact. A figure standing on a high cliff overlooking a vast, unexplored landscape, looking down at the seemingly endless distance. A cracked and empty pedestal, once holding a magnificent object, now signifying absence and longing. A hand reaching out towards an abstract swirling cloud, representing the vastness of unanswered questions. A faint glimmering light fading into darkness, symbolizing the mysterious disappearance of the artifact. An ancient weathered scroll unfurling to reveal faded ink illustrations depicting an ark sailing across a stormy sea towards a distant land. A stylized compass pointing west with faint markings on its face indicating a path leading away from Jerusalem, accompanied by a silhouette of the ark disappearing into the horizon. A mosaic depicting fragments of broken pottery and scattered scrolls, each showing different scenes related to the ark, but lacking a cohesive narrative. A vast desert landscape with towering sand dunes casting long shadows under a setting sun. An ancient city hidden in the distance behind a veil of mist. A majestic royal palace bathed in golden light, surrounded by lush gardens and bustling marketplaces, an ark subtly docked at its harbor. Ruins of a crumbling ancient city overgrown with vegetation. Shrouded in mist and silence, a lone figure searching through the debris near a collapsed temple. A close-up shot of an hourglass with sand slowly running out, symbolizing the passage of time and the mystery surrounding the ark's fate. A dusty archaeological dig site with workers uncovering ancient clay pots and scrolls near a rocky cliff face at sunset. A close-up shot of a weathered hand holding a single, fragmented scroll against a backdrop of mysterious shadows and swirling dust particles. A panoramic view of the barren Qumran desert landscape with ancient cave dwellings carved into the cliffs overlooking a shimmering lake. A bustling marketplace in ancient Jerusalem filled with merchants selling scrolls, incense, and religious artifacts, with a grand temple towering in the background. A dramatic shot of a burning temple engulfed in flames with smoke billowing into the night sky, casting long shadows across the fleeing crowd. A weathered and ancient chest resting on a pedestal inside a dimly lit cave, its intricate carvings barely visible in the flickering torchlight. Two hands carefully placing fragile parchment scrolls and golden artifacts into a sealed clay jar, symbolizing the preservation of ancient knowledge. A compass needle points east towards a stylized map depicting Africa, with an emphasis on the region near modern-day Eritrea and Ethiopia. An open book with a magnifying glass hovering over a passage about ancient civilizations in Ethiopia. A majestic city surrounded by rolling hills and overlooking a vast desert landscape. Within the city walls, a golden ark rests on a raised platform. A panoramic view of an ancient Ethiopian city bustling with life. Merchants trading goods, artisans crafting items, people going about their daily lives. A procession of camels carrying goods along a dusty road towards the ancient city, accompanied by people from various ethnicities. A regal portrait of King Menelik, wearing a crown and holding a scepter, standing proudly in front of a palace. Two figures, one representing King Solomon and the other the Queen of Sheba, stand before a golden ark, blessing it as they prepare for its journey. A hidden chamber deep within the ancient city's walls, illuminated by flickering torches, revealing a secure space where the ark is kept. A weathered parchment scroll rests on an ancient stone table, illuminated by a soft golden light filtering through a high window. A vast Ethiopian landscape stretches under a clear blue sky. In the foreground, a lone archaeologist brushes sand from a small stone artifact. A group of people sit around a crackling fire, their faces illuminated by the flames as they listen intently to an elder sharing stories from a book. A close-up shot of a hand holding an open ancient manuscript page with faded ink depicting a mythical creature, surrounded by swirling smoke. A montage of images flashes across the screen. A Mayan temple in Guatemala, a Viking longship on the North Sea, an Egyptian hieroglyph. A solitary figure stands atop a mountain peak, gazing out at the vast horizon as sunlight bathes the landscape in golden hues. A team of archaeologists meticulously examines the entrance of a cave in the desert, with towering sandstone cliffs of Petra visible in the background. The sun casts long shadows, adding a sense of mystery and intrigue. A narrow opening in a rocky cliff face reveals a dark cave interior, bathed in shafts of golden sunlight filtering through cracks in the rock. Archaeologists stand cautiously at the entrance, their equipment hinting at the search for something significant. A close-up shot of a weathered wooden fragment unearthed from the earth, surrounded by tools and maps spread out on a table. A scholar carefully examines the artifact under a magnifying glass, pondering its significance while a larger map of the region hangs behind them, dotted with potential locations of the ark. A panoramic view of a vast desert landscape stretching towards the horizon, where ancient ruins peek out from beneath the sands. A lone archaeologist stands silhouetted against the setting sun, their figure representing the enduring quest for knowledge and understanding. A weathered stone tablet etched with ancient symbols rests on a dusty pedestal, shrouded in dim light emanating from an unseen source. A hand delicately touches a golden ark overlaid with intricate engravings, reflecting flickering candlelight in a dimly lit room. A vast desert landscape stretches towards a towering sandstone facade carved with enigmatic reliefs, hinting at a hidden chamber below. A group of scholars huddled around ancient scrolls, their faces illuminated by the glow of flickering lamps as they passionately discuss and debate. A solitary figure stands atop a windswept mountaintop, gazing towards a distant horizon bathed in the warm light of dawn, symbolizing the continuous pursuit of knowledge. A vast canyon with windswept rock formations, wisps of mist swirl, forming the shape of whispering voices. A gentle breeze rustles through dry grass in a valley, carrying whispers towards a distant mountain shrouded in mystery. A scholar carefully unrolls a weathered scroll illuminated by warm lamplight, surrounded by stacks of ancient texts. An archaeologist brushes dirt from a clay tablet depicting an ornate ark resting in a sacred temple. A close-up of a scroll fragment showing intricate drawings of religious rituals surrounding the ark. A group of ancient Israelites gathered in a temple courtyard, performing a ritualistic sacrifice while scholars debate scriptures. A golden ark resting on a platform decorated with sacred symbols, surrounded by awestruck Israelites. Ancient parchment scrolls spread out on a weathered wooden table, bathed in soft light from an open window, casting long shadows across the room. A hand gently brushes the edge of a scroll, revealing cryptic symbols and faded ink. A bustling ancient marketplace filled with people draped in colorful robes, their faces filled with devotion as they gather around a towering, ornate altar adorned with intricate carvings. A golden ark rests atop the altar, glowing softly and emanating a palpable sense of reverence. A vast empty space within an ancient temple, dust motes dancing in the shafts of sunlight filtering through cracks in the walls. A single lone scroll lies abandoned on the floor, unfurling like a whisper of lost knowledge. A wise old scholar with piercing eyes and weathered hands examines a scroll intently, his brow furrowed in contemplation. The scroll is open to a page filled with intricate diagrams and handwritten annotations, hinting at hidden meanings and alternative interpretations. A serene garden bathed in soft moonlight. Candles flicker in delicate lanterns hanging from ancient trees, casting dancing shadows on moss-covered stones. A lone figure sits cross-legged in meditation, surrounded by a palpable sense of peace and tranquility. A dramatic scene depicting a group of men carrying a heavy golden ark through the bustling streets of ancient Jerusalem. The crowd parts before them, murmuring with a mix of awe and apprehension. An ornate chamber within a palace, filled with scrolls and maps spread across a large table. Two figures clad in royal robes confer over the plans, their faces illuminated by the flickering light of a brazier. A close-up shot of an ancient inscription etched onto a weathered stone tablet. The inscription is faded and partially obscured, yet its cryptic message hints at a mystery waiting to be unraveled. A weathered parchment map unfolds, revealing ancient trade routes between Arabia and Egypt, highlighting Petra as a crucial junction. Bustling caravans wind through sun-drenched desert landscapes, laden with goods and guarded by fierce warriors adorned in Nabatean attire. A majestic procession winds through Petra's intricately carved streets, led by a figure draped in royal robes, holding aloft a golden ark symbolizing divine authority. A skilled hand expertly carves a labyrinthine passage into a towering sandstone cliff face, revealing a concealed chamber bathed in ethereal light. A weathered scroll unfurling against a backdrop of ancient Ethiopian architecture, sunlight casting long shadows, hinting at a hidden history. A panoramic view of rolling hills dotted with traditional mud brick structures under an expansive blue sky, symbolizing the vastness of history. A distraught group of people, draped in worn clothing, walking towards a distant mountain range silhouetted against a fiery sunset, representing escape from conflict. A serene courtyard within a grand palace complex, sunlight filtering through open arches onto a group of people engaged in ritualistic practices, embodying the preservation of faith. A vibrant marketplace bustling with diverse individuals bartering goods and exchanging ideas, showcasing the blending of cultures. Intricate stone carvings adorning the facade of a majestic palace, suggesting secrets concealed beneath its grandeur. A looming fortress on a high cliff overlooking a vast expanse of land, symbolizing the threat of external forces. A group of people gathered around a sacred chamber within the palace, their faces etched with reverence and devotion, representing the unwavering commitment to protecting the ark. A panoramic vista of Ethiopia's highlands, showcasing rugged mountains and lush valleys bathed in warm sunlight. In the distance, the ancient city of Aksum appears as a cluster of stone structures against the backdrop of the sky. Close up on weathered hands meticulously brushing dust off an ancient inscription carved onto a stone tablet. A magnifying glass rests beside the tablet, emphasizing the careful examination of details. A scholar sits hunched over a table cluttered with maps, scrolls, and artifacts, their brow furrowed in concentration as they study a weathered parchment depicting a scene related to the Ark of the Covenant. A team of archaeologists carefully excavating a site, uncovering fragments of pottery and stone structures amidst swirling dust. Their expressions reveal both excitement and determination. A mosaic depicting the story of Noah's Ark adorns the wall of a majestic church with stained glass windows bathed in colorful light. The scene is imbued with a sense of religious reverence. A stylized illustration depicting a labyrinthine path winding through ancient texts and artifacts, culminating in a point of light representing the truth sought after by scholars. A scientist carefully examines ancient scrolls under a bright light while holding a carbon dating device beside them, surrounded by research papers and books on archaeology. A globe with highlighted locations around the Middle East slowly rotates as ancient scroll fragments float around it, symbolizing the shift in knowledge about their origins. A detailed map of Jerusalem and its surrounding areas with ancient symbols marking potential locations related to the Ark, overlaid with a translucent timeline highlighting key events. A split screen showing two contrasting scenes, one depicting a scholarly debate with people arguing about different theories, the other showing a dramatic reenactment of the Ark's possible journey. A series of overlapping circles on a timeline represent various possibilities for the Ark's hiding place, with some circles shrinking as more precise dating data emerges. A scientist points to a graph illustrating the margin of error in radiocarbon dating, highlighting its inherent uncertainty. A hand reaches towards a glowing orb representing the Ark, but stops short, grasping at empty air as if reaching for an elusive truth. A world map with glowing points highlighting various ancient sites, symbolizing hidden locations of the Ark. A hand gently unveiling a scroll revealing a complex network of interconnected symbols, representing patterns and connections. A weathered stone carving depicting an Ark shrouded in mist, with protective figures surrounding it, guarding its sanctity. A shadowy figure attempting to reach for the Ark, but being repelled by a shimmering force field, symbolizing divine protection. A group of devout individuals kneeling in prayer before a hidden chamber containing the Ark, their faces filled with reverence. A celestial being extending a hand towards the Ark, signifying God's blessing and divine connection. A close-up of hands carefully wrapping the Ark in protective cloth, emphasizing the act of preservation. A panoramic view of a war-torn landscape with the Ark hidden away in a secret chamber, symbolizing hope amidst chaos. A group of diverse scholars huddled around a table, poring over ancient maps and scrolls, with expressions of intense focus and discussion. A majestic, weathered Ark perched atop a high mountain peak shrouded in mist, its silhouette silhouetted against a radiant sunrise. An illuminated manuscript depicting an angel carefully covering a massive chest with a swirling veil of light. A shadowy figure kneeling in prayer within a dimly lit cathedral, their hands clasped together as if guarding a sacred secret. A chaotic scene with soldiers clashing amidst crumbling ruins, symbolizing the turmoil and hardship surrounding attempts to protect the Ark. A weathered hand holding a small fragment of an ancient artifact, its inscription partially visible against the backdrop of a vast desert landscape. A towering labyrinthine structure representing the complexities and challenges in uncovering the Ark's secrets. A weathered hand reaches out towards a misty mountain range, sunlight filtering through clouds revealing ancient ruins partially obscured by dense forest. Three intertwined threads, one golden, one aged parchment brown, and one woven with celestial constellations, are delicately knotted together. A chest overflowing with glittering gold coins sits open amidst dusty scrolls and ancient artifacts in a dimly lit chamber. A diverse group of people from different cultures gather around an open campfire, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames as they listen intently to an elder sharing stories. A lone figure stands at the edge of a vast, starlit desert, gazing upwards at the swirling nebulae and distant galaxies, their expression filled with awe and contemplation. A vast, sun-baked desert landscape stretches beneath a clear blue sky, with sand dunes undulating in the distance. An eerie stillness hangs in the air, broken only by the whisper of a gentle breeze. Close up on weathered parchment scrolls, partially buried in the sand, with faint markings that hint at ancient scripts and faded ink. A weathered compass lies beside them, its needles spinning erratically. A researcher in a worn explorer's hat meticulously sifts through sand, carefully brushing away dust to reveal fragments of pottery and bone. A lone researcher gazes thoughtfully at a star-filled night sky above the desert, their silhouette framed against the vast expanse. An open book depicting biblical scenes sits beside an intricately detailed map of ancient civilizations, both illuminated by a warm lamplight. A hand reaches out to touch the surface of a cracked mirror, reflecting a distorted and fragmented image. A map of ancient Rome with an emphasis on Judea, showcasing the political influence of the Roman Empire in the region. A panoramic view of Jerusalem in ruins, depicting the devastation caused by the Roman siege and the fall of the Second Temple. a chaotic scene of fighting and unrest in the streets of Jerusalem, with people fleeing for safety amidst the turmoil. A shadowy figure carefully placing a golden ark-like chest inside a hidden cave or underground chamber. A group of armed Jewish rebels marching towards Jerusalem, their faces determined and resolute, but looking at the now destroyed temple in the distance. A weathered scroll unfurling to reveal an intricate map of the ancient world, with vibrant colors depicting trade routes and cities bustling with activity. An illuminated manuscript showcasing a detailed map of the Mediterranean region with labeled cities, islands, and winding sea routes. A council of wise men gathered around a table covered in maps, discussing the location of hidden treasures and exchanging coded messages. Close-up shot of a map depicting a stylized representation of a mountain range, concealing a small, unmarked symbol. An ancient parchment displaying a series of cryptic symbols and intricate patterns interspersed with geographical landmarks. A hand reaching out to break free from a pair of chains made of simplified drawings of biblical scenes, representing limitations of easy understanding. A weathered, open book with the pages filled with swirling lines and abstract symbols, representing the complexity of biblical stories. A magnifying glass focused on a single word within an ancient scroll, revealing hidden text or markings that suggest bias. A mosaic depicting a cracked mirror reflecting fragmented images of Noah's Ark, overlaid with symbols representing post-exilic Jewish life and beliefs. A hand holding a paintbrush, meticulously altering details on an illustration of the Ark, highlighting how interpretations can be influenced by external factors. A scholar carefully examining a worn parchment with a thoughtful expression, symbolizing a need for careful and nuanced study. An open book resting on a table, surrounded by maps depicting ancient Near Eastern locations, with a quill pen poised above the page. A panorama of vast, desolate desert landscapes transitioning into breathtaking rock-carved formations like Petra's intricate canyons, with sunlight filtering through the openings, highlighting ancient symbols carved into the walls. Silhouettes of people performing ancient rituals in a canyon setting, lit by flickering torches and surrounded by weathered stone carvings depicting religious figures. A split-screen image with one side showing a detailed architectural drawing of the Ark of the Covenant, and the other side depicting various ancient Near Eastern structures like temples and underground chambers. A weathered stone archway leading into a dimly lit subterranean chamber, emanating a soft, ethereal glow, with symbols of celestial bodies and protective deities adorning the walls. A laboratory setting with a microscope and various metallic samples being examined by a scientist, surrounded by books on ancient metallurgy. Hands carefully excavating an ancient artifact from the earth, with tools and brushes nearby, as sunlight filters through a clear sky. A weathered map of a mountainous region with various locations marked, highlighting potential areas for further investigation. Different types of ancient metalwork displayed in a museum exhibit, showcasing diverse materials and craftsmanship from various cultures. A weathered hand gently places a magnifying glass over a delicate inscription on an ancient scroll, emphasizing careful examination and scrutiny. A bustling crowd gathers around a makeshift stage, captivated by a dramatic reenactment of an Ark discovery, contrasted with a lone scientist meticulously analyzing soil samples in a laboratory, emphasizing the need for balanced perspective. A pile of broken pottery shards and ancient tools are scattered on the ground, juxtaposed with a weathered map marked with X's representing false Ark locations, highlighting the importance of fact-checking and critical analysis. A scientist carefully examines fragments of wood under a powerful microscope, comparing them to scientific charts and data, emphasizing the need for concrete proof and verifiable evidence. A lone explorer meticulously charts ancient ruins on a weathered map with a compass, representing dedication and perseverance over time. A group of researchers gathers around a table, engaging in a heated debate about the validity of an Ark find, emphasizing open discussion and critical evaluation. An archaeologist carefully excavates a stone inscription that contradicts existing theories about the Ark's location, symbolizing intellectual curiosity and a desire to explore new perspectives. A weathered wooden chest sits open on a dusty hillside overlooking a vast, empty landscape bathed in golden sunset light. Close-up of an ancient scroll with faded ink depicting scenes of floods, building ships, and people praying, held by weathered hands belonging to an old man. A crumbling stone temple overgrown with vines stands amidst a forest slowly reclaimed by nature. A majestic palace, once grand and opulent, now lies in ruins, with broken columns and shattered windows silhouetted against a stormy sky. A group of archaeologists carefully excavating the earth, their faces illuminated by the glow of headlamps, revealing fragments of pottery and ancient tools. A weathered stone archway, overgrown with moss and vines, stands in the shadow of a looming mountain range. Time-worn inscriptions are barely visible on its surface. Dust motes dance in a beam of sunlight piercing through a crumbling stone chamber. Ancient scrolls lie scattered across the floor, and a faint ethereal glow emanates from a hidden recess within the wall. A close-up shot of an aged hand tracing intricate patterns on a weathered map spread out upon a dusty table. Globes and compasses surround it, bathed in warm candlelight. A pensive individual gazes intently at a complex diagram depicting interconnected symbols and constellations, their expression reflecting deep contemplation. A solitary figure stands before a crumbling temple, its broken pillars reaching towards the sky. Their expression is one of solemn reverence. A swirling vortex of smoke and shadow emerges from a hidden chasm within the earth. An ominous, unseen force emanates from its depths. A weathered scroll with faded ink depicts an ancient ark sailing on a vast sea, slowly disappearing behind a swirling storm cloud. An image of a burning library filled with scrolls and books, flames engulfing centuries-old texts written in Hebrew characters. A stern Roman legionnaire stands atop a hill overlooking a bustling Judean city, his gaze fixed on a distant temple engulfed in smoke. A towering statue of an Israelite king is shattered and toppled, its base crumbling into dust. An ancient stone altar covered in moss and vines lies abandoned in a desolate wasteland, symbols of worship worn away by time. A solitary figure walks through a barren landscape, their head bowed in mourning, symbolizing the loss of faith and hope. A weathered scroll unfurling, revealing ancient text in Latin, surrounded by flickering candlelight in a dimly lit library. A diverse group of people gathered around a table, each holding a different book or artifact, engaged in animated discussion. A majestic ship sailing across a vast ocean toward a landmass depicted with African tribal motifs and pyramids. A shadowy figure carrying a large wooden chest through winding, ancient Egyptian streets illuminated by moonlight. A series of interconnected caves leading to secret chambers adorned with religious iconography and filled with flickering candles. A split screen displaying ancient texts in Hebrew and Greek, symbolizing the intertwined stories of both faiths. A swirling vortex of colors and shapes representing evolving memories, gradually focusing on an image of a wooden ark sailing on a stormy sea. A hand gently passing a glowing scroll depicting a simplified ark story from one person to another, with each subsequent generation adding embellishments and altering details. A researcher meticulously studying various ancient texts and artifacts. Sunlight illuminating a magnifying glass, focused on a faded inscription revealing a fragmented ark story. A scientist examining a collection of ancient pottery shards under a magnifying glass, with advanced laboratory equipment and glowing magnetic field visualizations in the background. Close-up shot of a hand delicately holding a cracked pottery shard, surrounded by other archaeological artifacts, while a technician uses a handheld magnetometer to scan its surface. A map with various colored dots representing different locations overlaid on an image of the Earth, highlighting potential origins and movements based on magnetic analysis. A panoramic view of a mountainous landscape with dense forests and hidden valleys, hinting at possible hiding places for the ark. An archaeologist carefully brushing away dirt from an ancient inscription on a stone tablet, comparing it to a modern carbon dating device in the background. A montage of different historical scenes depicting various cultures and civilizations, symbolizing the broader understanding gained through archaeomagnetic analysis. A scientist in a lab setting carefully examines a sample of rock using specialized equipment, with a background image showing swirling patterns representing magnetic fields. A split screen showing on one side dramatic visuals of an earthquake shaking the earth, and on the other side, bustling cityscapes with construction and traffic. A visualization of a magnetic field, initially strong and stable, being disrupted by jagged lines representing geological disturbances and human activity, eventually weakening and changing shape. A close-up shot of an archaeologist meticulously examining a piece of ancient pottery with a magnifying glass, surrounded by maps, charts, and scientific instruments. A scale tipped slightly, showing on one side a heavy proof symbol and on the other a lighter probabilistic evidence symbol, illustrating the uncertainty inherent in interpreting archaeomagnetic data. A weathered map spread out on a table, illuminated by a single lamp. Intricate lines and symbols mark the ancient terrain, with several locations circled in red. A close-up shot of hands delicately sifting through sand, revealing fragments of pottery and bone. A mosaic image composed of fragmented pieces. Ancient parchment scrolls, clay tablets with cuneiform writing, and weathered stone carvings. A skilled artisan carefully weaving threads of different colors together to form an intricate design on a loom. An archaeologist carefully brushing away dirt from an ancient artifact unearthed in a dig site. A scholar sitting at a desk, poring over ancient religious texts illuminated with intricate calligraphy. A person kneeling in prayer before a sunrise, looking out across a vast landscape, head bowed in contemplation. A shadowy figure standing at the edge of a deep chasm, gazing into the unknown. A faint outline of an ark-like structure silhouetted against a misty horizon. A weathered wooden chest sits open on a hillside overlooking a vast, star-filled night sky. Ancient symbols are etched into its surface. Silhouettes of people from various cultures and eras reach towards a swirling, nebulous galaxy above them, their faces expressing wonder and contemplation. A single leaf falls slowly from a towering tree, landing on an ancient stone tablet inscribed with faded writing. The scene is bathed in warm, golden light. A group of diverse individuals huddle around a flickering campfire, poring over ancient scrolls and engaging in animated discussion, their faces illuminated by the flames. A vast expanse of golden sand dunes under a scorching sun. A gentle breeze rustles through tall grasses, creating ripples in the sand. In the distance, a lone tumbleweed rolls slowly across the landscape, close up on the wind as it flows over an ancient weathered rock formation, carving intricate patterns and revealing hidden details. A feeling of peace and serenity permeates the scene. A panoramic view of a dusty archaeological dig site. Excavators meticulously brush away layers of earth, uncovering fragments of pottery and ancient artifacts. A weathered parchment map with faded markings and cryptic symbols depicting ancient routes and hidden chambers. A magnifying glass rests on top, illuminating a specific location marked Ark of the Covenant. A group of archaeologists huddle around a small excavation site, their faces etched with disappointment. They carefully examine a collection of mundane objects, realizing their initial excitement was misplaced. A large empty pedestal stands in the center of a grand temple, once adorned with an ornate ark. Sunlight filters through stained glass windows, casting long shadows on the deserted space. A series of superimposed images depicting various interpretations of the ark's disappearance, mythical beasts, celestial events, and natural disasters, each one fading away to reveal the next. A single hand carefully closes a hidden door within a dimly lit chamber, concealing a secret compartment behind it. The faint glow of a flickering candle illuminates the scene. A close-up on an ancient inscription etched into a stone tablet. The symbols depict religious figures and mythical creatures, hinting at a deeper meaning behind the text. A solitary figure stands guard over a hidden shrine nestled in a remote mountain cave. They hold a torch aloft, illuminating ancient artifacts and sacred relics within the chamber. A crowd of people frantically searching through piles of debris in a dusty, ancient city, their faces etched with desperation. A single hand gently placing an ornate wooden box inside a hidden cave, sunlight filtering through cracks in the entrance. An old scroll with religious writings spread out on a table, next to a compass and maps of ancient routes, bathed in warm candlelight. A close-up shot of a weathered stone door sealed shut with an intricate lock, overgrown with vines and moss. A group of people arguing heatedly around a large, imposing ark, their expressions filled with both reverence and aggression. A panoramic view of a diverse congregation gathered in a modern church, bathed in warm sunlight streaming through stained glass windows. A tumultuous landscape with crumbling buildings, smoke rising in the distance, soldiers clashing in the foreground, and worried citizens fleeing. A shadowy room lit by flickering candles, with figures whispering conspiratorially around a map marked with intricate lines and symbols. A divided city with different groups holding banners representing various faiths, facing each other with hostility, some engaged in violent clashes. A hidden chamber deep within a cave, shrouded in darkness, with the ark resting securely inside on a raised platform. Roman soldiers marching through a city street, their armor gleaming in the sunlight, torches held high, casting menacing shadows. A group of men arguing heatedly inside a grand hall, some wielding weapons, others gesticulating wildly as they clash over a scroll or artifact. The ark encased in gold, intricately decorated with symbols of power and divinity, bathed in soft golden light. A crowd of people from different backgrounds united, holding banners depicting the Ark, their faces determined and hopeful as they march towards an unknown future. Ancient, weathered parchment with faded ink depicting cryptic symbols and overlapping narratives, illuminated by a flickering candle, casting long shadows on the wall. An open book with an illustration of a vast wilderness landscape dotted with ancient ruins, a golden ark partially hidden amidst the landscape. A hand reaching out to touch a map with cryptic symbols and markings, but the map shimmers and disappears as soon as the hand gets close. A wise old man meditating in a serene temple, surrounded by ancient scriptures, bathed in golden light, symbolizing spiritual wisdom and political power. A bustling archaeological dig site in Petra, Jordan, with archaeologists carefully uncovering ancient stones and artifacts under the scorching desert sun. Close-up shot of weathered rock carvings on a sandstone wall in Petra, depicting an elaborate symbol representing a sacred stone. A narrow passageway winding deep into the heart of Petra, lit by flickering torches, leading to an unknown chamber shrouded in darkness. An open book displaying a parchment with ancient writing about the Ark of the Covenant, surrounded by miniature models of hidden chambers and secret passages. A weathered stone sarcophagus adorned with intricate carvings, representing the safekeeping and protection of precious artifacts. An illustration depicting skilled Nabatean architects working diligently on an underground tunnel system, using sophisticated tools and techniques. A panoramic view of Petra's elaborate network of tunnels carved into the sandstone cliffs, showcasing the Nabateans' mastery of subterranean construction. A majestic golden ark resting on a pedestal within a hidden chamber in Petra, adorned with intricate carvings representing the Nabatean culture. The golden ark surrounded by symbolic artifacts representing Nabatean art, religion, and traditions, highlighting its significance to their cultural heritage. A scholar sits at a desk piled with ancient scrolls, looking contemplative with a furrowed brow as they examine an inscription. Close-up shot of weathered parchment filled with intricate writing, faded ink blurring around the edges, hinting at the passage of time and potential inaccuracies. A stylized depiction of a mythical creature blending seamlessly with historical figures in a swirling vortex of colors. Two opposing hands reach out towards the same ancient artifact, one hand clutching it tightly while the other gently caresses it, symbolizing conflicting narratives. A bustling marketplace scene with people adorned in ornate Nabatean clothing, listening intently to a charismatic figure delivering a speech atop a raised platform. A grand palace bathed in golden light, adorned with intricate carvings and symbols of the Nabatean kingship, radiating power and influence. A distant silhouette of a wooden ark slowly fading into the horizon, obscured by swirling sand and dust, symbolizing the ambiguity surrounding its true fate. A weathered, ancient map unfurls on a table in a dimly lit library, its edges frayed and worn with age. A lone magnifying glass rests near a circled location marked Ark. A panoramic view of a bustling cityscape juxtaposed with soaring mountains in the background, sunlight filtering through stained glass windows illuminating a cathedral nestled amongst skyscrapers. Two weathered hands gently place a small, ornate chest inside a hidden alcove within an ancient temple wall, sunlight streaming in from a crack above. A solitary figure kneels in prayer before a towering altar adorned with religious artifacts, their face illuminated by flickering candlelight, casting long shadows on the surrounding walls. A weathered wooden ark partially submerged in a misty sea, with a crescent moon illuminating the sky above, casting an ethereal glow on the scene. Close-up of a contemplative person's face, eyes gazing upwards towards a starry night sky, filled with wonder and deep thought. A vast cosmic landscape with swirling galaxies and stars, symbolizing the immensity of the universe and humanity's small yet significant place within it. An ancient scroll unfurling, revealing intricate illustrations depicting historical events and figures, culminating in a scene of people looking towards the sky with hope and curiosity. A hand reaching out towards an obscured image, representing the elusive nature of the Ark and the longing to discover it. A group of people huddled together around a flickering candle, holding sacred objects close, symbolizing their unwavering faith and commitment to preserving what is precious. An ancient temple filled with worshippers, engaging in rituals and prayers, highlighting the timeless nature of human faith and its enduring impact across generations. A radiant light emanating from within a heart, representing the strength and unwavering belief that faith provides. A lone figure standing on a mountaintop, gazing towards the horizon, symbolizing humanity's continuous search for purpose and understanding in the face of life's complexities. This video has come to an end, but but the discovery continues. Check out more content on the channel and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Thank you for watching.